We're going to come out in like a star, you know what I mean? One of those. There we go. There we go. We're live. Here we go. All right, welcome everybody. It's 4 o'clock on Thursday, December 8th, 2022, and this is the New Ulm Library Board meeting. Our first order of business is the approval of the agenda. We all have the packet. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. And now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of our November 10th library board meeting. We've all had that in our packets to look over. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, the minutes are approved. Now let's look at our financial report.
We are 92.05% through 2022, and our budget is approximately 78.51% expended. Bills paid during November included $353.42 to GOG Sheet Metal for repairs to the children's roof HVAC unit, $1,509.01 to EBSCO for our annual magazine subscriptions, $205 to Full Service Electric for replacing the southwest entrance exterior accessible entry button, and $248.78 to Riverbend Business Products for a printer toner. We also paid $2,500 to the Traverse to Sioux Library System for the additional overdrive contribution that the board approved at the November meeting. Our budget is approximately $129,000 underspent. Some of this is due to large bills that we'll pay later in the year, including the carpet replacement, which is complete, just waiting on an invoice, and meeting room furniture replacement. Just a note for the board, I will likely be asking the finance director and then the city council in conjunction to carry forward some funds that we haven't spent yet, which includes the $17,000 for furniture purchases and the balance of the computer supplies and equipment line and $8,400 that's in the computer and hardware line. We are just having a hard time getting the materials here for those things, and so we want to continue to use that money in the way that the library board approved, which just might happen in early 2023 instead of by the end of this year.
So there shouldn't be any problem with those being carried over.
I talked about it briefly with the finance director, and she didn't seem to have a concern with it, but I haven't gone through item by item with her yet, but I'm not expecting an issue.
Thank you.
And then just an update on the 2023 budget. The city council had their public hearing on Tuesday for the city's budget. None of the councilors or the public present had any questions about the library budget, so they didn't raise any concerns there. The final budget approval for the city budget, including the library's budget, is scheduled for the December 20th city council meeting.
Okay. There was nothing in the paper about the library budget, so I thought that was a good thing. I thought that was a good thing. We didn't want to be we didn't want to be reported on.
We'll get some of the
That's
$17
right.
billion
That's
that
right.
the state
Oh, the
has.
state's coming in. Right. Okay. Any questions or comments about the finances? We're doing fine. You know, that's all good. Thank you, April. On to the activities report and the statistics which we have for November.
In November, library staff viewed a recorded introduction to Evergreen video. We did that together at our November 18th staff meeting. It was just a very basic overview of some of the functions of the new system and navigating a few of those things. We have had a couple sessions scheduled in between for supervisors, and then we have a couple of our library staff who are going to be serving on the testing cohort to see. The goal is to break things to see where we might have issues. So they'll be participating in that, and then there'll be another recorded video coming out that'll go more in depth into the circulation functions for us. So that'll be checking items in and out. Looking at patron accounts, registering new patrons, kind of the typical things we do on a day-to-day basis. And we'll watch that ahead of those full day sessions that we have scheduled in January of 2023. The children's room carpet replacement was completed last week. They finished it in a day and a half. It went really smoothly. I think it looks great. So we're satisfied with that project, just waiting on the invoice. The children's room shelving replacement has to be rescheduled. They've had, our vendor has had an issue with delay in materials. Materials were lost and damaged, and so they're waiting for a new set to be sent to them so they can bring it for installation. The water department has completed work on the steam pipe in the library's parking lot, and the affected areas are repaved now. And curb replacement is scheduled for spring. The curb along the church is not there right now.
So the shelving survived the carpet install?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned the HVAC units slated to be scheduled to be determined. But in the budget, you mentioned the repair of an HVAC unit. Is that one of the HVAC units that's going to be replaced?
That's the children's one. So the two that were scheduled for this year that we haven't received yet are the two on the nonfiction roof. And then the city council did approve to replace the one on the children's roof, but that was slated for next spring based on how long it took to order those
Okay.
units.
So in the meantime, we repaired it to keep it going until
Yes,
hopefully for a while yet.
yes.
Okay.
And the issue that we were having with those units was for the cool air. So, we're hoping we'll be okay for the winter, and can get it done before it gets warm out. On Saturday, November 19th, the Rad Zoo presented a program, and we had over 150 adults and children there. That was really fun. That's always been a crowd pleaser for us, so we're glad to be able to offer that again. And then Megan, our assistant director, has been working on a new project, Binge Bags. So these bags will include multiple titles by one author. So, for example, Colleen Hoover has been really popular lately. She's been getting a lot of attention on TikTok. Excuse me. And so what we're doing is going to offer a kit that has 4 or 5 titles of hers, so patrons can start with one author and kind of read through all in one kit rather than waiting.
So what's the loan period for a binge bag? More than the 3 weeks, or
No, those will still be 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, it still will be. Okay.
Yeah. That's why we're doing 4 to 5 titles and not, her full series of, 10 titles that she has in some of her series. And then we've continued our outreach to the 4 assisted living centers. That's going really smoothly. We've got our routine down there, and those patrons are glad to have us, and we've slowly added more as we've gone along. I can answer any questions anyone has.
Okay, any questions about the library's activities? And
Well, I don't want to stretch your voice, but I wanted to ask you, are we caught up for this year with all the carpeting projects now in the building?
Yes, so we have one section of carpeting left, and that'll be the nonfiction floor.
Okay.
So we are a year behind in our carpeting plan. I was trying to figure out the other day exactly when that happened, when we got a year behind, and I think it might have been in a transition between when we didn't have a director for a while, maybe between Paulina and Chris. But we also wanted to hold off on that nonfiction floor until we knew that the roof was tight. So I think the timing has worked out for us. Hopefully we'll have enough snow to test it this spring, and then can work on carpet replacement and finish that project out next summer.
All right. Thank you.
good. Any other questions or comments or things you want to bring up? If not, we'll move on to the programming for December.
All right, so for December, we have been doing Teen Tuesdays, Creative Kids, and Wacky Wonders each month, and those are hands-on activities, art-related, STEM for kids. Just the difference in between those programs is the difference in ages. We've got 3 different age groups there. The one we have left for December is Wacky Wonders on Thursday, December 15th at 3:30 in the library's meeting room. We do require registration for that, so if you want to visit www.newulmlibrary.org to register, you can do that. There's still space in that program. And then we have a no-school afternoon movie on Thursday, December 29th, and the children's room will be showing the movie Bad Guys. And then for December adult programming, this has already started, but people could still jump in at any point. We're doing a 5-date series of evaluating the news, which was a program Leroy had done for us previously, but this is taking specific case studies and talking about how those were covered by the media and how that affected public opinion. So those are Thursdays throughout December at 1:30 p.m. at the community center. We're doing that in partnership with CAST, but it is a program that's open to the public. And then a new Ulm Chess Club has started to meet on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. That's, again, open to the public, no registration required. You can join as you're able to. But they'll meet weekly on Tuesdays at the library, and they'll do some playing, and as the group grows, I think they're hoping to do some competitions as well.
Great. Queen's Gambit. Any questions or comments, things people might want to call to our attention or to the attention of the folks that are listening? If not, we'll go on to the Brown County Library Board update. April and Carl.
So the Brown County Library Board met on Monday, November 14th, and gave our second disbursement for the year. They also discussed meeting with the Brown County Commissioners, requesting space on one of their meeting agendas in February to give an update on how libraries are using those funds, kind of a middle of the year update on any budget concerns or challenges that the libraries are facing, to just kind of try and keep that to the front of the commissioner's mind ahead of any budget requests that we'll make next year. So I've reached out to the county administrator to try and set a date for that. Haven't finalized that yet, but we'll send some information to them ahead of the meeting, and then the library directors and members of the Brown County Library Board, and then the public would be welcome to join us for that if they're interested as well. Carl, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add to that.
I'd just like to add it always impresses me how encouraging it is to be at those meetings and listen to what is all going on in the libraries around the county, particularly the smaller ones of Hanscom Comfrey, that they stay the course and are having programming, and it's just fascinating to hear about all of what they can do with such small buildings and catalogs and inventory. It's just a great thing to be a part of.
Well, that's nice to hear. It's nice to hear. Any questions about the anything going on in the Brown County Library Board? Hearing none, we'll go on to the Strategic Planning Committee update, April.
So we have not met again since our last library board meeting. I asked the committee to postpone our next meeting to Monday, January 9th at 1:30 p.m. And the reason I asked that is so that we could figure out our membership from the library board members. Margaret and Bernice are stepping off the board. Their term ends at the end of 2022, so this is their last meeting. And so they wouldn't be able to be on that committee as official library board members. Margaret stated that she would be willing to continue to serve as a community member. Bernice wasn't able to do that at this time, but I am hoping that 1 or 2 library board members would be willing to be on the strategic planning committee.
Well, and I have told April that I would be on the strategic planning committee as a board member. How many board members do you feel should be on?
I think two is probably a good number. We could, if more people wanted to, but I think at least two is good to make sure the voice of the board is being heard.
Would there be, so the end of the year would probably be the deadline to let you know on that?
Yeah, and
Or-
is before the January meeting, I think, so we just know as we go into that meeting who our committee
Well,
is.
or before the January 9th, before the first meeting. And I think it would be good to have a fresh look.
Yeah.
I encourage you to say yes. I encourage you to step up, like, grab the baton.
We can talk on and doing it.
And what I imagine those meetings to look like to start is to kind of, that first one, it'll be to set our timeline for the year as far as the work that needs to be done. I know we'll have to look at if we want to do a community survey and those kind of things. And a lot of that will happen with the library staff doing the work of that. But I would like the committee to be involved in setting that timeline for the year for us.
Sure, great. Well, and, there's that one thing that is hanging over from, or not, carrying over from the last strategic plan, and that's the second floor. I think that's the unfinished project, although not to speak for the committee as a whole, but that's probably something that the committee will be looking at, so. Anything else about the strategic planning committee? Always fun. Always fun. Okay, now we have these four we have 4 action items resolutions, and at our last meeting, I read these start to finish. And so I would very much appreciate for each resolution hearing a motion to offer the resolution and waive the reading.
So moved.
All right. All right. We'll start with Resolution 2230, which approves the updates to the circulation policy. And thank you, Vince, for offering that resolution and waiving the reading. Is there anybody that wants to talk about the circulation policy? Anything that's come up since our last meeting?
I do have one note. I sent out the board packet so that library staff can view it each month as well. And one suggestion that I had from a staff member was that when I changed the language in a couple places from he or she to there, my plurals didn't agree in those sentences. So I would just like the board's permission to fix that so it's correct.
No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem.
Madam Chair, before we move too much further into this, I was going to ask, I think at our last meeting, we asked that April report if there were any comments from the public to the policies as they were posted on our library's webpage. And I'm just curious if you did indeed have any feedback, April, from any members of the public.
I didn't.
Okay.
Okay. Well, and like I said, we read them start to finish and posted them on the website, and no community concerns.
No.
That's what we're getting. Okay. And that would be for any one of these.
For any of them.
Any one of these. Okay. All right. If we're ready to go, I'll have our secretary take the roll on Resolution 2022, number 30, approving the updates to the circulation policy.
Dustin, yes. Vince,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
Resolution passed. Next, we have Resolution 2022-31, approving the updates to the Wi-Fi hotspot policy and user agreement. Any comments on that? All right, hearing none, I'll accept a motion to offer that resolution and waive the reading.
So move.
We got that, and we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Dustin, yes. Vince,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
All right, resolution has passed, approving the updates to the Wi-Fi hotspot policy and user agreement. Next, we have Resolution 2022-32 with regard to the updates to the Library of Things policy. Any questions or comments with regard to that policy?
So
If-
if someone wants to borrow something, they got to fill out the approval form.
Yes.
Do they got to do that every time they check something out, or is it like if they did it once, now they're on file and they can check out different things?
So that's what we've been doing is once they fill it out once, we put a note on the library account
Okay.
that staff can see. So we know they don't need to do it again. Now that we're changing these, we'll need to probably start over with new
Right,
new
but
signed copies.
they don't have to
but-
do it every time though, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
yeah, because where I work, when we have visitors, their visitation rights are good for a year. And so we keep that on file. So every time January rolls around, even if they were there just in December, they gotta basically go through the orientation.
Well, and April and I talked about this a little bit. It's not that big a deal.
No, it's not.
It's not,
but I
it
just
just
didn't know
takes a
if they
moment, but
have
we
to-
it should be done.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion to offer the resolution and waive the reading with regard to the updates to the Library of Things policy?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll?
Dustin, yes. Vince,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
All right, we have a resolution approved. Next, our last but not least, Resolution 2022-33, approving the library closure on November 11th, 2023. What was that all about again? I can't even remember.
They're already getting Friday off.
I know.
Now they want Saturday off. My goodness.
Oh, remind me, I apologize, I can't remember what it was all about.
So the city observes Veterans
that's
Day on
right.
Friday.
Yeah, okay.
But state statute
Yeah.
says we're probably shouldn't be open.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a loophole.
It's right. It's okay. Thank you. I'll take a motion offering the resolution and waiving the reading.
So move.
All right, have a second?
I'll second.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Dustin, yes. Vince,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Carl.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Good, that's it. Now, finally, we've got our other business, and that is the library board recognition. We've got two faithful library board members, Margaret Bloomberg and Bernice Schmitz, who are going off, and they have their plaques, and now they have our appreciation. Thanks, many thanks.
Thank you so much for your service on the library board. It's been really great working with both of you, and I'm glad I'll get to keep seeing you as patrons.
It's been enjoyable 6 years, right? 6 years?
Right.
It has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot about the city development and just the community and what a great library New Ulm has. And I'm very proud to be part of that library system. So it's really cool.
Thank you, Mark.
Be ready to be called a year from now for your final term.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable. I'm glad to be on the board.
Good.
Thank you both.
Any other business to come before this board?
No.
If not, meeting adjourned. Great, good. Thank you, everybody.